Rob Slim Show.
Hey, Rob. It's Creech.
Creech, CJ Creech, how you doing, dude?
Yes, this is CJ Creech. I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Not bad, not bad. Filmmaker and podcaster from South Carolina, correct?
Yes.
What's going on?
All the way in Charleston.
Nice.
Nothing much. Yeah, nothing much. Just sorry I'm late. I edited a couple of scenes, so it kept me a couple minutes late.
It's all right. It happens, bro. It happens. What were you doing? You were doing your podcast, correct?
No, actually, I was editing wrestling footage because I filmed the local pro wrestling.
Oh,
So
cool.
I was editing some of that footage together. But I did do editing on the podcast last night, so that's a really good guess.
Nice. And that is Dave and Creech? The Dave and Creech Show, right?
The Dave And Creech Show, yes, sir.
And how did you guys meet, you and Dave Sheridan?
It's a weird story or an odd story. I mean, I've been podcasting since 2015.
Wow.
I believe 2015, January of 2015, around there. And I had originally started my own podcast called Creech Questions. And it started off as basically just a Walking Dead podcast where I just had, actors from The Walking Dead on.
Wow.
But I wanted to branch out a little bit. And so I started getting other celebrities and actors. I got Ming Chen from Comic Book Man. I was one of our first non-Walking Dead people. And then I got in contact with Dave because he had a Walking Dead parody movie coming out called The Walking Defeat.
I saw the trailer. It looked great.
Yeah, so I brought him on the show to promote that. And back then, I kind of I wanted the podcast to be a little different from others, so I would usually get the actors to do skits involving their characters that they've previously played. Cool. So I had Dave do one which was like Doofy, 16 years after Scary Movie.
Oh, that's great.
He reprised the character. It was a whole skit where basically Doofy was hosting his own podcast. And when he heard it after I edited and pieced everything together, he loved it. So he happened to come down to Charleston, and we met up, had dinner, and he was like, "I want to do a podcast." Wow. So basically, then we started the Dave and Creech Show in January 2016. And we've been doing it ever since.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. That is super cool. Yeah, I was just telling our buddy Pete here that because later I have Dave on, and I was just telling him we got Doofy, and he was amazed. Yeah,
and it blows my mind too, because I mean I remember in middle school I used to walk around quoting Doofy. Yes. So it's just kind of weird. Now I'm hosting a podcast with him.
I was already in my 20s, and I was like, this is great. This is good shit. Like, this is so good.
I think that was like one of the first R-rated movies.
Yeah, I saw that movie when I was like 12 or 13. My mother wanted me to see that movie.
Oh.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I didn't. Most of the jokes I didn't even understand them because I was so young.
Yeah.
But, yeah, going back and rewatching them, they still, especially the first one, still holds up to this day.
Yeah.
It was just so great because
we were saying too. The first one was the best.
And it was so perfect because Scream was such a big thing back in the 90s. Like, that's everybody fucking loved Scream. Every Halloween you were Ghostface or 50 Ghostface. Yeah.
How did you see?
Yeah, and actually,
I'm sorry.
The funny, no, you're good. The funny thing about Scary Movie that I learned, because we did a Scary Movie retrospective podcast eventually on Dave and Creech, and basically the funny thing with Doofy was at first Dave refused to break character in between takes, so some of the other actors were thinking he was actually mentally challenged. And it took the actual producers to come down and say, "Yo, cut the shit. people are thinking we're taking advantage of a mentally challenged person. So he finally broke character.
Oh my God, that's so good.
He should have just kept going. He should have yelled at him and been like, "I'm not mentally challenged.
I want to drive. I want to drive." Holy shit, that's good. How did you connect, CJ, with the Walking Dead people, the actors in the first place?
Well, I had a couple of friends who had been on the show, and then also I actually went as an attendee for the original Walker Stalker Con.
Wow.
And there I networked and with James Fraser and Eric Norduff, who's the creators of the whole convention, and basically they approved me for press, and they hooked me up with some really good interviews for the show. Like I had Jeffrey DeMunn, one of my first episodes.
Oh, he's awesome.
And, classic actor, I mean, Green Mile, Shawshank, everything.
Yeah.
He's great, and they hooked me up with Lou Temple, who's fantastic as well.
I love Lou. Lou is great.
Yeah, Lou is great. Yeah, the funniest guy, has the greatest stories about Devil's Rejects. Since I love that movie, it's like,
yeah,
it was a blast. And actually, Dave was in Devil's Rejects too.
I saw that.
A lot of people forget. Yeah, he's actually survives the movie. So.
Wow. Yeah, I've only seen it once, and it was when it first came out. So I'm kind of cloudy on that one, but yeah, wow.
Yeah, The Devil's Rejects. I've seen that movie way more times than I probably should admit on the radio. But thankfully, with Dave having worked on it, we've had most of the actors on the actual show.
Oh, that's cool.
So we've had Danny Trejo and Sid Haig, Bill Moseley. Pretty much heavy hitters. So
I know you guys have had some big guests, man. I saw your guest list. You guys have had some great guests.
Yes, it's really hard to actually pick favorite episodes. I mean, I have a couple of personal favorites, which basically the ones who I'm watching is there's only been one I didn't like at all. Didn't even want to release it, but other than that, they've been all fantastic.
What was the one? Can you say the one you didn't release, or did you release it, or did you not?
I did release it, and I'll go ahead and say it. It was the interview we did with Tom Green.
Wow.
Which was a surprise because I grew up on all of his stuff, but he was really he almost got in arguments with Dave because Dave was trying to keep it light. Dave's joking, interview. Like, he was taking everything seriously that's saying. Tom Green was getting agitated. And then, at the end of the show, usually after we record with them, we asked them to do an intro for us. And Tom Green immediately was like, "Oh, sorry guys, I'm losing it." Completely hung up on us.
Wow.
And me and Dave were like, "Oh,
CJ,
yeah."
I think you're breaking up a little.
Are you there?
Yeah, your phone's I think breaking up a little bit, dude.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's about the same.
Yeah.
It's like a spring.
No, worse.
Oh, CJ, if you want to call us back, dude, fuck. Oh.
Can you hear me now?
No, it's really
That's
tough.
better?
A little bit. CJ?
This is exciting air right here.
Okay, we got you, dude. We got you. It's good. It's good. Yeah, I heard you say that you asked him to do to do a liner for you guys, and he just hung up on you.
Basically, yeah. We told him what to say, and then he was like, "Oh God, guys, I'm losing you. I'm gonna go. Bye."
Wow.
And they just completely hung up on us.
And you said it was because he was pissed off that David was trying to keep it light and like joking around.
Yeah, that was one of the main things. Like Dave would make jokes you know, and try to get him to play along, and he didn't want to play along. He wanted this interview to be straight and serious.
That's what I was going to say. How else are you going to be with Tom Green? Like, I don't see any other way to be with him. Like, I figured he would be able to roll with that.
Comedian, like.
Yeah. I mean, you think Tom Green show, Road Trip. I mean, most of everything he's known for is comedy, but apparently he doesn't. It's kind of ironic because he was on the show to promote a horror movie that he was in, but also to promote his. You know, he was doing touring for stand-up, and yet to not be funny, it was just like, I don't even get it.
Wow. Yeah, that's really odd. That's really odd. I was going to ask you too, CJ, who is Lexi? I saw on your pin tweet, you have this girl Lexi do interviews, and I loved it. I couldn't stop watching it.
Yes, Lexi's actually my 6-year-old daughter.
Wow, she's amazing, dude. I just she's so adorable.
She really is, and you know, it's just one of those things where I've been podcasting for so long, and she's grown up around it. Sometimes, you know, she would literally be in the room when I was podcasting, so she just decided she wanted to start doing it, and since, you know, I'm able to travel and do these conventions, you know, for press. To do interviews, I was like, you know, sometimes I go to shows that pretty much I've already interviewed everybody myself. So I was like, you know what, why not have her, you know, have a 6-year-old, a little girl, ask questions, because then, you know, it's like, it's not your typical interview, and you know, her questions are so off the wall that like it catches them off guard.
One of them, she just asked like, "What is my vegetable. Oh yeah, favorite? My favorite was, what is my mom's name?"
Yes! She is awesome. Just the outgoingness of a kid. It's just so innocent and so great, so great.
Oh yeah, that, and then one of the ones I haven't released yet is actually pretty funny because I had a small role in this movie called Strip Club Massacre. And I had her interview one of the female co-star, like, leads of the movie. And one of the questions she asked on the spot was like, "What is Strip Club Massacre?" And the lady was like, I don't know. You might have to ask your dad about that.
Oh, that's great. That is great, CJ. CJ, what, I was going to ask, do you have any upcoming projects that you could talk about?
No. I mean, I've got an upcoming episode of the Dave And Creech Show, which was going to release within the next couple of days with Marshall Allman from Prison Break and True Blood. Cool. And we're going to be talking on there about his, he's a big fan of Stanley Kubrick, so in his spare time, in between shooting that AMC show Human that he's on now, he recut Eyes Wide Shut. Like, cut 40 minutes out of it and has made it a more brisk movie.
Oh, wow.
And we're gonna be talking about that.
Cool. And what's the coolest thing you've heard one of your guests tell you?
Oh, that's hard. Probably, actually, it was a year into doing the podcast, and I actually got it on camera. Josh McDermott, who plays Eugene on The Walking Dead, I interviewed him, and then at the end, you know, I was asking him to do an intro for it, and I started, you know, to say my name was CJ. He's like, "You're CJ Creech?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I know you." And like that, I was like, "Whoa!" I felt like a made man. I was like, "Wow, they actually, you know who I am." That's always stuck with me. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool. That is awesome. I love him. I feel more than I should love him. I don't know why I love Eugene so much, but I do. He's awesome.
Oh yeah. He's so odd, but yet, you know, also hilarious. Yeah, yes. I agree. And he's fantastic.
Yeah. Who is your favorite on The Walking Dead?
Favorite I've interviewed, or just favorite person?
In general, favorite character.
Not Daryl. Not a Daryl fan.
See, really?
Probably, I guess I'd have to go with Rick.
See, yeah, I like the Rick, but I love the Negan. I love Negan, man. That's great. And I love his guy Simon. That guy is fucking crazy.
Oh, Simon's
bro.
great.
Yes. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Slim?
I was gonna say, who's Daryl? I don't remember seeing him at all in any panels.
Slim only reads comic books. He's not.
I read all the Walking Dead comic. Never seen the TV show.
I love Daryl. Like, he's just a lovable scumbag. Like, I love him.
Yeah, and then my favorite probably Walking Dead actor I've interviewed is actually Alexandra Breckenridge.
Who's he playing?
She played Jessie in the show. Basically, the Rick's second love interest. It was basically she got eaten alive, and her kid got his hand chopped off or whatever.
Yeah,
she got her hand chopped off.
She pissed me off, dude. It's like, why? I felt like, why did he waste his time on that character? Like, he should have went right for Michonne.
I mean, Alexandra Breckenridge is a beautiful lady, though. So, I mean, I understand, why he would go. Like, our listeners dubbed us Breck and Creech, because she's been on the show a couple of times.
Cool.
And I've actually got a picture of me holding her. It's on I think it's on my Facebook, but it's pretty funny.
Awesome. That's cool. Yeah, dude, that show's been great. Slim, you don't like it. Pete doesn't watch TV. He's like a cave.
I love the Walking Dead comic book.
I got up to like the part where they're in the colony. Like
jail?
Yeah, the jail.
What's the colony?
Yeah,
Tell us the colony.
They colonize the jail, and then the governor attacks. That's as far
I
as
loved
I got.
Scotty. Who was Maggie's dad?
Oh, Herschel.
Yeah, my God, I loved Herschel. He was my favorite. I heard that actor still has the head from when he got decapitated.
Oh, that's awesome.
He still has it in his house.
Yeah, he actually sometimes I've been to enough of the Walker Stalker Cons Express. Like, he usually brings it with him.
Wow.
So, like, you can actually see the head that they use.
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, he is probably one of my favorite characters. Him and Glenn. Glenn was cool.
Yeah, it was rough. Hell.
Yeah.
They ended him.
Fuck, that was rough. Wow.
Yeah, that was a rough death to watch for sure.
Yeah.
But hey, at least I stuck to the comic. It was.
That's what I heard.
At least it was as brutal as the comic was.
I heard that episode was pretty much.
Like, all that extra stuff wasn't there. Like, in the comic, Negan didn't kill Abraham. Abraham was already dead. Like, one of his men shot him. I think Dwight actually shot Abraham with an arrow in the comic. But that scene in the comic was just like everything leading up to like Glenn's head getting bashed was exact from the comic, but all that stuff after that happened in the TV series didn't happen in the comic. Like he didn't take Rick, he didn't do any of that. In the comic, he bashed Glenn's head open and he was like, "All right, I'll catch you alligators later," and that was it, and he leaves. So, but other than that, like all of it, like leading up, like all the stuff he said was like word for word. So he was like doing the eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Like he did that in the comic and everything.
I loved when he killed Spencer. Oh my God, that was my favorite. When he's like, "You do have guts. They're right there."
That was exact from the comic.
Oh too. Yeah, that's one thing we talked about where that was just one of the coolest. Mm-hmm. CJ, we have to wrap this up, dude. But thank you so much for talking to us.
No problem, guys. Anytime, man. I hope you have fun with Dave. I think in 30 minutes because he's a handful. He's your problem tonight.
Where can everybody find you, CJ?
I'm on Twitter at CJCNOV88. Really should get a personal Twitter account, but I'm there, and then I'm also on at Dave And Creech.
Nice. And one more question, just by the name. Have you ever been confused for Screech by Saved by the Bell?
Yes, I have. I've got plenty of B-roll where people were trying to say my name and they wind up saying Screech because they think I'm Screech. So I've got like a whole B-roll of pretty much almost every big name person saying Dave and Screech, and then I get like, no, Dave and Creech. It's like Screech minus the S.
Oh man, fuck that guy.
That's Dustin Diamond.
Dustin Diamond. Fuck him and his big dick. Thank you, CJ.
All right, y'all have a great night.
Take care,
you too,
man.
brother.
Cool. He was awesome.
Cool. He is so cool. We'll be back. when my mouse gets to Pandora.